sponsors for affiliates.
Check.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Oh, listen up. They're not conservatives. They're not liberals. They're equal opportunity haters. It's time for Rants in Our Pants with Dawn. That's my secret. Yeah. I'm always Kristen. And away we go.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's us again.
Don't say it like that.
Well, we still have no idea where in Canada Krista is. No idea. And it's almost like we should. I feel like we should put up not wanted posters, but missing posters. And and I know a lot of people tune in to hear her and her insights on everything. And it would have been great to have her insights, especially over the past 2 weeks. But you got me, folks. Sorry.
Hey, that's good though. You coming for him?
Well, no, not necessarily. I will say, my job was to ignore the news. But no, once again, it's me, Dawn. To my left is our producer, Cortez, as always.
What's up, people?
I think before we even start, I really feel like we need to address the bloated orange elephant in the room. I don't think we can avoid this. I think we have to discuss this before we move on to anything, because this was this was the bombshell of bombshells, and that is the rumor that Kanye West cheated on Kim Kardashian with Jeffree Star. Did you hear about this?
I did. I kind of got mixed feelings about that. I think it's possible.
I'm flummoxed. I mean, I normally, when I'm surprised by something, do not emit like high pitch what to things. But this one, someone at work told me about this, and I literally, you could have heard me across the whole building going, what? I mean, okay, I know Kanye West has an ex that one time intimated that he liked the little chocolate starfish being tickled.
I remember that story.
So, and like you, it wouldn't surprise me if he did cheat with a dude. But in my brain, I'm thinking Jeffree Star, the guy who looks like Skeletor, even dressed up in makeup.
I mean, it's something different for everybody. A different pay scale brings a different lifestyle.
I guess, but you go from Kim Kardashian to Jeffree Star. That's a hell of a, different strokes for different folks. Yeah. I would have taken what's his name, Charles. I forget what his whole name is, but he looks he even confuses me, dude. When he's in full makeup, I'm like, he's pretty.
That's kind of the same thing with like RuPaul. He did it so long and so good. It's like sometimes when shows come on and he's like full of drag, you look like, who's this? And then you look like, oh, that's RuPaul.
It's like, wait a minute. Like, put it in break, big fella. Put it in break.
No.
But yeah, that one kind of took me by surprise. That even if the rumors turn out to be true, it's just what?
I feel like a lot of these relationships are falsified anyway, because most of these people get with somebody who has an equal amount of money or at least close to it. It's never really based off of that love story that you talk about when you first get in the industry. Like Kanye swore up and down that the woman he was with was gonna be his ride and die forever. Got in the industry, started going for industry chicks, and surprisingly, he said Kim Kardashian is the woman he always wanted and said he was gonna have.
And I'm assuming he had these impressions with his ride and die at the same time.
And that's what I'm trying to understand. It's like, the perspective is different once you cross that line of a certain stardom. It's like, everybody who was there for you in the beginning, like T-Pain. I like T-Pain's relationship because his wife got a thing where she says that, you know, it's an industry where it's a lot of temptation. You meet different girls from different worlds. And I understand there's going to be temptation, but all I ask out of respect for me is that if you feel the urge to cheat, you bring her home and we cheat together. Like that was the most unique like situation of a relationship. And that's what made me start looking to like poly and all this other stuff. Like, okay, that can possibly work somewhere down the line.
Right. As long as you have that mutual understanding.
Oh yeah, like if I was to go poly, like I would definitely not do anything with the third wheel or, you know, with our outside without, you know, my mate being either involved or around. She
Right.
has a friend that's poly, and like I said, I'm trying to get her on the show. But she travels. I mean, every 3 to 6 months, it's a new relationship. You know, her and her mate travel. They go see their people, and it's weird hearing about it because it's like this stuff you see in the movies. So it's like when you hear about it, it's like, you try to implement it in your life, and then you know, bring on trouble.
Yeah. I believe me. Yeah, I can definitely see that, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I've heard of some relationships in Hollywood where you actually have literally it's like the actual it fucking works type of deal. Like they're on, well maybe, and this is not a knock against his wife, but you look at like say Tom Hanks. I believe he is married to Rita Wilson, I believe. She was in a couple of movies back in the day. I think they met during, oh my God, Volunteers back in the 80s. They're still married. And they, you know, they were on equal pay grade. Now, maybe not so much because he's done blockbusters. But I don't think that gets in their way. And you also got people like Nick Offerman and Megan, I'm going to probably butcher her last name, Megan Milani, who they're both up there in status and they make it work. But then you get, and this is my all-time favorite, because to me, I lost respect for him long before he went to the Houston Astros. Justin Verlander. He gets 2 no-hitters, and you see his girlfriend at the time rush on, and she's so happy for him. It's like, oh, I'm proud of you. And next thing you know, there's Kate Upton in the crowd. He tosses her a ball, literally, and now they're husband and wife. He dumps the one that was supportive and all that other shit and goes, ooh, there's Kate Upton. Now, can't blame the man. She pretty.
You talking about the swimsuit model?
Yeah.
Supposedly that's why he left the Tigers, because she was messing around with one of the players. Prince Fielder's without.
Are you sure that was Kate Upton? Because it was the whole thing with Prince Fielder was Prince Fielder's wife was messing around with oh my God. They called him Mini Miggy because he kind of resembled Miguel Cabrera.
Oh, I can't even think of his name.
Yeah, it's escaping me. I can't remember his name either.
I started watching it when Torrey Hunter left us.
Oh God, yeah, I love Torrey.
When we lost Torrey Hunter,
that guy, he brought a lot of heart and character to that team. A lot of heart and character. And if he would have stuck around longer, he would have had his old coach back.
He could have, but you know, like how I say with sports, no matter who the coach is, it's on to the players to go out there and, you know.
Oh yeah.
They have to sit there and they have to make that plan happen. So that's why when we lost Caldwell for the Lions, it's like, y'all should have gave him another season. He came to a shitty team. Me talking to him not gonna make him less of a shitty team.
and you know what the funny thing about that situation was? I'm glad you brought it up. The funny thing about the fucking situation is Caldwell actually did better than who he got replaced with.
Oh yeah, Matt Patricia ain't do nothing. He was just a name.
It was. I didn't understand why they did not stick with Caldwell. Just because Matt Patricia used to be on the Patriots, you think it was Matt Patricia who fucking got the rings for that team? No. So you go with, and this will segue into another little mini rant. You go with a guy who you think is going to bring you all this, productive wins and shit. And then once you realize he's garbage, you get rid of him. Yet, the University of Michigan opts to extend Jim Harbaugh's contract.
Are you serious?
Despite the fact he had, even despite the pandemic, the first losing season at home. They didn't win a single game at home. The freaking fact that players came down with COVID saved them from getting embarrassed by Ohio State again. He has yet to win a fucking game against the Buckeyes, yet they figured, fuck it, let's extend the contract. Because it's more cost effective to keep him.
And that's the thing. It's like COVID has bailed a lot of people out.
Oh my God. I haven't bought a newspaper in a long time, but when I saw that headline, I snagged it. I said, Amanda, I'll meet you in the car, and I'm reading, getting pissed off. Like, are you fucking for real? Anyone else who fucks up on that scale year after year and still not only keeps his job, but gets an extension? I make mistakes after mistakes and I don't produce, I'm getting fired.
There you go.
This motherfucker, well, I'm a Michigan man. I played under Bo. Trust me, I'll turn it around eventually. How much longer is it going to fucking take?
As long as there's a school around and they feel like they got somebody.
Well, that school clearly doesn't want to be a dominant force in football. That's for goddamn sure, because it's an embarrassment. It really fucking is. And I feel bad. I really feel bad because I loved watching it used to be my ritual. Every Saturday, do not fucking bother me. The game's on, I'm watching it. I didn't watch a single fucking, well, who wants to watch a game when you got cardboard cutouts and like fake
Yeah.
But
that's what got me, because a couple weeks ago I finally paid attention to what I thought it was digital TV screens, but it was really, like you said, it was cardboard cutouts.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, it just seemed weird. That's why I couldn't get into the sports this year, because it's like I never realized how much the audience played a part.
Yep.
It's like I'm watching like high school. Don't get me wrong, high school ball is the best ball ever. High school and collegiate sports, I feel like they're still hungry.
Yeah. I'll agree with that.
Now we got all these lazy bums in the NFL and NBA making all this money and just know we gonna make this money regardless. It's like the intensity in the game is gone.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I prefer between collegiate and high school football, watching that versus pro, because you can watch pro ball and still be like, oh yeah, fuck you, Aaron Rodgers, fuck you, and all that other shit. But then you have to deal with, like you said, a lot of players are there making hand over fist, and they don't play with the same, I would say, passion or drive. I mean, I always wondered about that. Does the coach go into the locker room, in a pro football locker room, before the game and just go, well, you're getting paid no matter what. Go hustle, hustle, hustle. If you win, we get a bonus. If we go to the playoffs, I get a bonus. And if we win the Super Bowl, it's bitches and titties for everyone. I mean, what motivation does a fucking coach have to try to get these guys pumped up?
And that's the thing, like, if I had the power to do so, I would hire like staff, not head coaches, because the head coach is not going to do nothing but tell, deliver messages. That's what I feel like the head coach does. He's the delivery boy. What about these defensive coordinators, those people, the secondary? Are you taking the same time with secondary as you are with your force hitters, your people? So I think it goes way beyond the coaches, and it's like we all know just who main coaches are, but I can guarantee I can ask any like real football head to name some coordinators. And they're like, well, they might name 2 or 3,
Yeah.
but that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Like Harbaugh should have came with a whole staff. If you had a winning team over there, it wasn't you. It
Right.
was your staff and your team.
Right.
So you should have worked that into your contract somehow.
And notwithstanding anything, it's just, and I know I'm doing a lot of dead air, but trying to formulate, just for those who don't watch college football, and especially even high school football, when you're in the crowd itself, there is something more energizing and stuff that gets you more pumped up when you're there, and you see it night and day. Because I've been to pro football games at high school and college, and to me, it's always different. You can sit and watch I hate to say it, but it was a Lions game.
Mm-hmm.
But you can sit there and be like, yeah, this is awesome. And then they start playing that marching down the field, something, something, something will not yield. And you just sit there and go, what the fuck are they saying? Meanwhile, you go to the Michigan games or even Spartan or any other like football team, you got the marching band playing the dun, 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 and that pumps you up way more than anything else.
Yeah, it definitely do. Especially if you got one of those bands that like get into the whole chanting and all this other stuff. It's like that's what set the tone at them games.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
When I went to Western, I knew we would always lose to Central. But when that game came around, I made sure I was there just for the energy itself. It just set the tone for the whole day.
I was about to say, you played with a lot more passion and fire, didn't you?
Passion, and then it just, it's just one of those days where it's like, you go feed off of the energy. A lot of these home games, I feel, or NFL home games, I feel like some people get way too invested.
That used to be me. Not in pro football, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like more so pro football. Like when you in school, you just got that energy, just your team spirit. You're meant to go against your rivalries. You're gonna be amped up, wanting to fight because that's the energy they create all the way up to that game.
Right.
But when it comes to like the pro football, it's like people getting so invested, and I feel like it's a world where it's fixed. They want certain teams to win, certain players to exceed. Like, why would you
tell us
who in God's
Green Bay?
God's green earth? You want to switch over a quarterback like a Brady? Like if somebody like that bought you multiple rings, not ready to retire.
Yeah, I was just about to say, do you think New England's regretting that right now?
I'm very much so. I haven't even been watching the games, but I know Cam, when he stepped outside of Carolina, I already knew it. It was a setup. It's definitely a setup because one, who's going to come behind Brady?
Right.
Who's going to come behind what he did, whether he deflated a football or not? That was a record to live up to.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with the Peyton Manning. Like, I always thought Peyton Manning was a better quarterback than Brady was, but some people see it different because they're Michigans or Michiganders.
Between the two of them, I thought, and maybe I'm wrong, I kind of saw them on equal, almost playing fields. The only difference is Brady had a lot more surrounding him versus Peyton Manning when he was with the Colts.
Yeah.
He had some decent coverage and protection, but not nearly as good as the Patriots did. They're coming to get us.
Yeah, but when it comes to quarterbacks, though, honestly, I'm still a Vic fan. Like Vic, the
Can't do it.
McNabb,
Can't do it.
Aaron Rodgers, like Matt Ryan, Mahomes. I like these quarterbacks because they move on their feet.
Right.
Like Matthew Stafford, again, home team all day. I would probably be a Lions fan, even though we lose. But Matthew Stafford, I feel like single-handedly throws people into retirement.
Yeah.
And we seen it with Calvin Johnson.
Yep.
Golden Tate basically tried to bite his tongue, saying, after the next game, I got this many more games left, and we'll talk about it there. And basically, you've seen them make that switch. So it's like, okay, you done lost receivers, you done lost running backs, tailbacks. All right, when you gonna start looking at your quarterback?
Never! Because it's Stafford!
Hey, he's stuffing the fours. You feel me?
Yeah, literally. But speaking of fire, passion, misdirection, let's go to the real bloated orange elephant in the room. Exactly. We weren't on last weekend, obviously, because we are a bi-weekly show. But things happened last week that were a little, dare I say, scary. Not shocking. And if anything, it just showed, it really turned an ugly spotlight onto some division, hypocrisy, and just a whole bunch of bullshit.
I say call it what it is. It showed true racism at its worst. It's because not what happened to what you're talking about, not to cut you off, but just how it impacted communities.
Oh yeah, because I'm telling you, they're coming for me. They are coming for me.
Hey, shout out to the Radford Police Department. You know, they're doing their thing.
When I first heard about it, mind you, I heard about it from a Trump supporter. And what bothered me about hearing it from a Trump supporter is that they were talking about the Capitol riots with a gleam in their eye, almost like with an excitable, did you hear? Almost like, we're going to be free. Are you, what the, and I'm like looking at him going, what the fuck are you talking about? Because I had heard that they were prepared long before this rally that the Trump pansy had, that the National Guard were on standby. Little did anyone know, no one, i.e. the orange Nazi bloated sweet potato, the Cheeto, he wouldn't even call the National Guard. It had to take Mike Pence being locked up in a basement in fear for his life because you got these assholes screaming, hang Mike Pence, to call the National Guard and override Trumpanzee. Now, I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And it even blew my mind more because I hadn't known all the facts yet. We still don't know all the facts, but I knew nothing. But when I said, son of a bitch, that motherfucker, they go, who? I go, Trump. He's the reason for this. And they go, how is he the cause of this? And I swear to God, my jaw still hurts. Because my jaw hit the fucking concrete harder than a frickin' prostitute during Fleet Week. So I went on my break and I'm watching the videos. Now, the first thing I noticed is they're showing clips of some of the Capitol Police moving the barricades to let them in. Now, I'm only going to say one thing, and it's not going to sound right at all. I'm going to apologize in advance. This is what I call an impression. Trust me, I have to apologize to Amanda constantly. But the thing is I'm thinking that these guys, when they moved the barricades, as much as it pissed me off, I'm thinking it's two of these guys against thousands of these rabid motherfuckers. They probably said, you know what? There's no way. Check police out. And they just moved the barricades and got the fuck out of there.
I believe it. They was outnumbered.
But the thing is there were pictures and video of the Capitol Police taking selfies with some of these morons. And then, of course, there was rumors that other ones were just like showing them the way, like, oh, yeah, if you make a left up here, you're going to see the bathrooms on the left, and Pelosi's office is right at the end of the hall. Stuff like that. I don't know how much of that I believe. But the one thing I did notice, and even though there are other examples of the I want to say the the gunfight at the Capitol Corral, when you had those two Capitol, I don't know if they were Capitol officers or not. They might have been like higher level security. But when they had their guns trained at the door through the broken holes of the people trying to get in, you had pictures of that. You had other pictures of one security guard who was being chased up the stairs by like 20, maybe more maggots. And he's by himself. I was in like mortal fear for this guy. And I don't know if he got out unscathed or not. There's the one police officer who was doing his job, trying to get these fuckers out of there, and he got beaten to death. Those are the ones I sympathize with, and I don't know about the one police officer who committed suicide, if he was the one that was seen taking the selfie with one of the protest. No, I'm not going to call them protesters. Fuck that. They were insurrectionists. They were seditionists. They were freaking gullible zombie morons. Thank you.
I got you.
But if he committed suicide because he pretty much knew his life was over, it was over. The minute he was on camera and it was revealed on national TV of him taking a selfie with one of these idiots, he knew it was done. Game over. Game over. There's nothing you can do or say in front of the FBI or your superiors that will basically say, well, I made a boo-boo. But let's get to some of the, like you said, what showed the true hypocrisy and racism here. Back during the summer, when there were all the protests, the Black Lives Matter protests, you had Sweet Potato Hitler enacting people to do pull-offs from the streets, pull them into darkened trucks. You had him tear gas protesters so he could cross the street to hold a Bible that he's never read. Try to get him to quote something. Oh, that's personal. That's personal. Bullshit. The only reason why you can't quote it is because you got the centerfold tucked in the middle of the fucking thing. My favorite passage is Bush, Harry, Thigh 1, 2. But you had the cap and again, I'm not going to totally slam the Capitol Police because there were people there trying to do their fucking job. But that being said, there were those that did not help the situation at all. And it cost them one of their brothers, two of them now that I think about it. It cost other lives, one of the maggots that got shot in the neck and bled to death, I think. And I don't know the names or the circumstances surrounding the other ones that had passed away or were killed during the whole thing. But you look at the difference, and it irked me to no end when you have Republican senators saying, oh, well, the Democrats only like the violence when it suits them. Whoever wants things to get violent except for Sweet Potato Hitler? Who?
You know what? I'm gonna go on record to say a reference. This particular person that I work with, I was joking around with her one day because, again, I don't give a shit about politics. You know, I'm gonna vote for what sounds to be the most effective for me, my community, my family in the long haul. We got to possibly deal with this person for 8 years. I'm gonna say any and everything I want to say because the person that was in charge gets to say whatever the fuck he wants to say.
Right.
So this particular person I work with was always talking shit about Biden, how Harris wouldn't make a good president, this, that, and the third. And I'm thinking, we in two different worlds. You know, being a white woman and she has certain values she stand by, and I respect it. But there's certain things that she says or do that I don't respect as well, and I'm sure it's the same with me. So long story short, bringing it to a closure, I joked with her one day because she was talking all this shit about Biden and Harris just days before.
So I said, can you do me a favor? This was after when we found out about the second impeachment, or that they were having a trial. I said, I need you to do me a favor. Now, wait, medical. I need you to make a call for me. What do you need me to call? I said, can you call Trump and tell him to get the fuck out the office? So that took it on to where she says, don't even get me started. How are they saying that these people are deplorable? They're only going to go to McDonald's afterwards, blah, blah, blah. But when Black Lives Matter marched, they were just angry people. I'm like, no. Black Lives Matter people have been stabbed, shot, dogs sicked on them, and this goes before Black Lives Matter. This was civil rights.
Right.
Like, this is shit that we always went through. So for you to sit there and say, or you try to denounce Black Lives Matter, you guys could have possibly, I'm saying you guys because you're a Trump supporter and you thought that was the right thing to do, shut down our government. Y'all made us look stupid internationally.
On such a huge level.
On a huge level. So that just weakened our military strength right there because they know where all our people are deployed to. They're going to these national monuments. Everything else is left open.
Yep. I think they said we have more troops in the Capitol guarding the historical monuments and the Capitol itself than we haven't ever had in Afghanistan.
And that's
Are you serious?
And that's sad because it's like what they say. Michigan got 20,000 of the troops or 11,000 troops. It was one of them two numbers, but a high number.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you deploy that many during war.
No.
You ain't got 11,000 soldiers out here shooting at different people.
And you look at it, honestly, you look at it and you go, wait a minute. And I almost hate to sound like Randy Marsh here, but I thought this was America. I thought this was America. You don't see that. You don't expect to see that. You think when you look over at like countries that are often like under siege of like coups and all that other shit, Turkey, Soviet Union, oh my! I would be remiss if I didn't say the Middle East. Please don't come and assassinate me. You're lovely people, I'm sure. But the thing is that you had Orange Cheeto impeached not once, but twice. Pence refused to do the 25th Amendment because he felt. He doesn't have that much time left. And, we're working together to make sure everything goes okay. Yeah, my ass.
Oh, what they call it, call for resignation?
Yeah. But yet, this motherfucker, and again, I said this the last time, and I will say it again. Trump has conned so many people, and they bought it. They fucking bought it. They're like, wait a minute. If I give you Johnny's college fund, you can stay in office for you'll fight to try to overturn the election so we can get 4 more years of your shit. Where do I sign up? And that's why I was so glad that I don't remember what agency it was. I think PayPal was one of them. I can't remember. But a lot of them froze it. They're like, no, you're not getting this money. You tried to incite a fucking coup. Whether your intentions were to do so or not, which is, it was just fiery words. I was trying to make an impassioned speech. Motherfucker, no, you didn't. You knew exactly what you're doing. You're an idiot, but you knew what you were fucking doing. So then, not only was he making money off of this, but they're saying he knew he lost. He knew. But he didn't want to go down as, a simpering wimp. He wanted to go down as a fighter. I'm a man. I got huge balls. I got huge itty bitty. Massive hands. I got bigly hands. Just nothing but bullshit from this man for 4 years. He couldn't handle the loss because ego's everything to the man, but also his brand is more. And if he goes and leaves the presidency as a fighter, I say with air quotes, then his I guess if you want to call it a career, but his post presidency, he can probably make way more money. He could try to come and fight again and run for another election in 2024. Here's the problem, folks. It backfired. Huge. New York cut ties with a lot of his properties, so he can't run the carousel in Central Park. He's got a golf course in the Bronx. They basically said, the PGA basically said we were going to have a tournament at one of your golf clubs. Not anymore. There goes millions of dollars there. But if you think the man cares about the human life factor, you are so out of your goddamn mind. With him, it was always about money. There's an infamous moment they showed in the past 2 weeks where they said he couldn't be bothered to enact the National Guard because all of this was playing out on live TV and he wanted to watch. And you see a moment where he's under the tent. His wife, daughter Ivanka, is right next to him. And they're watching the riots under a white tent. How ironic. All they needed were the hoods. They were under this white tent watching everything. And at moments you can see him smiling. Like, I did this. These are the people that love me. I'm loved so much. These people are willing to commit a felony for me. And what did he do when he realized his ass was on the fire? You don't represent. No, first he said they're special and he loves them. Then he turned on them, saying, you do not represent this country. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Please see between the lines. Then he asked for, please, no possible violence. Please, no possible. But wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And then he doesn't want to pay Rudy. Mister, I'm going to fart on camera. Not once, but twice. And I still swear I thought someone dubbed that in. And then I saw the actual thing. I'm like, oh, he did fart on camera. Oh, shit. Not once, but twice. Rudy, what's wrong with your booty? And then you got, him now looting the White House, taking things you're not supposed to take. You're not supposed to take the bust of Lincoln out of there. That ain't yours. I know it's petty and I don't like to pick nits here, but you're not supposed to take any gifts from any foreign, power leader, whatever, not over $20. Something along those lines. And yet they're showing, as they're talking about them setting up the bunting for the inauguration, they're showing movers, and out comes somebody with a huge bronze bust of Lincoln. Another one's taking out what looks like a pheasant to me. And then lastly, my favorite, one of his cabinet members taking out a picture of his meeting with President Xi of China. And the only thing I was thinking of as I'm looking at this picture is, come on, Photoshoppers, do your thing. Put gay porn in place of Trump and Xi. Or better yet, put Xi and Trump's face on the gay porn actors. Do your thing. This is your time to shine. Trolls unite. Where are you? But, basically, the fact that it all boiled down to these idiots storming and pretty much doing, I want to say the impossible. And it boils back down to what you said. It showed the clear divide and racism here. Because if you look at it, and no, folks, I'm not trying to be the Hitler or orange sweet potato Hitler in chief for 5 more days.
I got a feeling that's going to be so much longer.
We'll get to that. But the thing is, there were way more people taking to the streets and showing their levels of frustrations with the injustice during the Black Lives Matter movement than there were at the Capitol. Someone tell me how these ding 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 were able to storm the Capitol without one, help, two, assistance. I know it's the same as the first, but work with me here, folks. And lastly, complacency. They're rumoring now that there are some Congress people that probably were in on it, like giving out locations, giving out kind of like, if you make a left, you know, that kind of thing. I'm down here, so's Nancy. Her office is on the second floor, you know, that kind of thing. How do these assholes storm one of the most, I want to say, sacred institutions of democracy without that much opposition, if there isn't some kind of double standard? I know the now resigned Capitol Police captain or chief said they were woefully ill prepared and they did not have sufficient backup. This is so much true. That being said, it was a total clusterfuck situation. No matter how you fucking dice it. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's going to get way worse before it gets better. Because now you got the FBI saying between the 16th and the 20th, all the capitals are on high alert. A lot of capitals are closed down because there's supposedly massive protests by these freaking inbred morons. You got the Capitol, basically the campus around Washington, D.C., that's closed down. It's gone. Or not gone, but you can't get in. You can't stay at a Airbnb unless it's for an extended period for medical reasons because of this. This is just as fucked. You never heard of this. I mean, not in my lifetime anyway, where an inauguration meant high alert for the country. Never. And there's only one person to blame for this. Only one. There's many people that you can say are micromanaged that are going to get their comeuppance. Mr. I'm going to put my feet up on the desk and look like I'm taking a call. Mr. Shaman of QAnon. And my personal favorite is the guy who just got elected to office, I believe was in Alabama or Arkansas, one of the two. He was there and he got arrested. And there's his grandmother saying, "Thank you, Mr. Trump, for bringing all this, you dumbass." But there is only one person that is completely to blame for this. And that is Trump. If he would have just fucking acted like anything other than what he was, and instead of trying to divide the country, fucking just play golf. That's all you wanted to do anyway. Get off Twitter. Just go to the golf course. Leave us alone. Leave it to the fucking adults. But instead, he's such a whore for attention. He did everything he could. He's like, I'm in the most powerful office. I can do whatever I want. And even the things I'm not allowed to do, I'm going to do it anyway because no one's going to tell me no. And guess what? He succeeded. He fucking succeeded. However, there's a funny little thing called videotape. And even though Mitch the bitch is going to delay the fucking vote of they're going to convict him for impeachment until after basically he's out of office. and basically turn the blame, or if people get upset, onto the Democrats, because by then the Democrats will have the full run of the House, both houses, and he's off scot-free. People forget he's on video condemning Trump. Okay? He's not going to be off the hook no matter what. But we got 5 days left. I just wish the fucker would just go. Get out. I want there to be a day, a single fucking day, where I don't have to say the word Trump. Unless it was to say, oh yeah, I got a story that'll trump yours. That's it. That's it. I want him gone. Done. History. He wants to run away to Mar-a-Lago, but here's the problem. His neighbors don't even want him. Scotland. It's hilarious. He's got a thing where he's supposed to go to Scotland. Scotland don't even want him. They're like, no, we got a restrictive travel ban here. If you land, we don't care who you are. You will be arrested because you're violating our country's rules. Oh, please do it, Trump. I'm begging you. Go to Scotland. I want to see William Wallace and all of them come down on their kilts and just give you the biggest surprise of your life. I'm sure they'll find a pair of handcuffs small enough to fit your baby wrists. But the whole thing with Biden and Harris's inauguration coming up, I'm actually legitimately scared for Biden. I'm more scared for Harris. Because if these assholes have shown anything, they have no regard for anybody. They brought in zip ties. They were going to go in. They were going to kidnap, possibly murder and or rape, torture anybody that they saw was a threat. However, that being said, it's not that the whole thing didn't have some humorous moments. And no, again, I'm not talking about Mr. Horn guy. I'm talking about if you can look up, if you can find it on YouTube, look up what's her name? Elizabeth from Tennessee. And one of my favorites, that it's probably my favorite of all time, of entitled check your privilege at the door type of things. Because this bitch goes to the fucking Capitol, goes to the rally, and what? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not the actual clip, but I'd love to see what he did. I'd love to see what he did.
What happened to you?
I got maced.
You got maced. And what happened? You were trying to go inside the Capitol?
I made like a foot inside and they pushed me out and they maced me.
What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Elizabeth. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee.
And why did you want to go in?
We're storming the Capitol. It's a revolution.
Okay. Now right there, I would like to point out there were some cops trying to do their job, and they were macing the shit out of these bitches. But the pure fucking gall. I got in. I got a foot in. And they maced me. Bitch, what did you think they were going to do? Open arms? Come on in? Yeah, the one right there. That's the actual clip. That is the actual clip. Oh, go for it. I don't know why it says the opera, but I don't hear her. Oh, there we go.
What happened to you?
I got maced.
You got maced. What happened? You were trying to go inside the Capitol?
I made like a foot inside and they pushed me out and they maced me.
What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Elizabeth. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee.
And why did you want to go in?
We're storming the Capitol. It's a revolution.
And that was on Alex Brown's YouTube channel. That was, I mean, do you see what I mean? Did she fully expect that the color of her skin and her piano scarf was just going to get her in the fucking Capitol and take it over? What was she hoping to accomplish? Seriously.
Privilege.
Exactly. I almost want to, when I ask these questions, I saw this on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. He's like, why did they do this? And you just see this like thing scroll below him that says white privilege. That's exactly what that broad is. I mean, literally just what the fuck. But another good one. I saw this while I was on break. Picture a family, a mother and a daughter. And the daughter is pro Black Lives Matters. The mother is a maggot. Okay? When the daughter wants to go to the protests for Black Lives Matter, the mom says, "You can't go to those. Violence is going to erupt, and you're going to get hurt. It's unsafe. It's unsafe." Well, guess what daughter saw on TV? Her mom harassing a security guard in the Capitol who happened to be of a different shade than she. And that security guard finally had it, turned around and cold cocked the bitch right in the face. And the daughter went, "You shouldn't go to these, Mom. Violence and hatred will erupt. Is this you?" And she turned her into the freaking police. Poetic, beautiful justice. To me, it's yep, there you are. This you, the top one. It's like, is this you?
Support Rollerbox Unfiltered. Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. Only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Rollerbox Unfiltered.
Word.
Support the Rollerbox Unfiltered daily digital show by going to rollerboxunfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Well, Michael, since you said you might get your ass knocked out, y'all know what time it is. Oh, no.
I'm white. I got you, ho.
Did she just say, "I'm white, I got you, ho"?
Yeah.
Are you fucking for real? Oh, God. Here we go. Time for me to be ashamed. Oh, boy.
Y'all, they had at the Capitol the protest for Trump. Sister, white woman. Oh, wait till y'all see this.
Now, honestly, I hope she's okay, but you see people getting in her face and walking her out. See?
Oh, they started fighting?
They punched her. Forget the fact. I mean, I hope she's okay, man. The other broad, not so much.
See, it's shit like this that make you want to just, every Trump supporter I see, I just want to punch you in your fucking face. I don't give a fuck who you are.
I'm the same way, dude. Every time I
How
see
do you
one of those
support
fucking
this dumbass
flags,
shit?
every time I see one of those fucking flags, I want to fucking throw something through. And I try not to be that way. I desperately try not to be that way. But it angers me on so many levels about some of these people and how they act. My cousin and my sister recently posted, okay, that you can be of different political parties and still like each other because it's the person's character, not their political association. And that is true. I know Republicans that are decent people and do not support this shit. And I know Democrats that are kind of hypocritical.
And that's crazy because the person that stays right across the street from me is a hardcore Trump supporter, but he's respectful. But I haven't talked to him since the invasion of the Capitol stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know where he stands on that. But yeah, like you said, it's like politics shouldn't be the thing that divides you.
Right.
But that goes along with everything else, the religion, the race, the,
And
poverty level.
And that's the thing, though. It is the person's character. Okay? The person's character. The problem with that is there are people you think they're really good. They say they'll stand by you no matter what. That still, to this day, since Wednesday, are in support of what happened. They hope Biden does a good job. They didn't vote for him, but they hope he does a good job. They want things to frickin' heal, but yet they still support this jackass. They're so blinded by his policies. They're so blinded by his personality, if you will, that they're seeing a dickless wonder at play here. I mean, I when it comes to what happened and what has happened previously, I shouldn't be shocked. I should not be shocked that there are this many morons. And I gave it up for Lent, folks. I can't call some of you people gullible, misled, easily swayed, grasping for hope under the guise of an orange comb over. You're morons. You're fucking morons. Because if I had somebody come up to me, and this is the thing that blows me away, that a lot of these people, I'm not saying they're all from the South, clearly, because if they lost Georgia, there are some people that were fed up with his shit. But you got this fast-talking, smooth-talking New Yorker coming down saying he's going to make your country great again. You got close to 400,000 people that are probably going to be dead come the 20th, thanks to his lack of response.
I think we exceeded that number already.
Probably did. I know they were saying by the inauguration we'll have about 400,000 dead.
Yeah, and that I got a different feeling about that because I did downplay it for a second until I start losing family members, but it still came from misinformation.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And to this day, I still think people are being misinformed.
I'm going to say yes, 80% to that. Because when everything first happened, no one had a fucking clue what they were dealing with. And I think a lot of, because I touched on this before, I have a lot of moments where I have that crisis of conflict. Is the suggestions really working?
The question is this injection really working? Like,
I'll let you know when I get it. I signed up. I registered.
I signed up. Well, you know what? It was brought to our attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe about 7 people at my place of employment have already went.
Mm-hmm.
One of our doctors already just had a second injection. But my whole thing is, one, it's still clinical trials.
Yeah.
I don't want to volunteer for something and my body don't act right to it.
Well, here's an interesting question for you. You ever get the flu shot?
Nope.
All right, I have. I've never experienced what some people experience with the flu shot, which is you start feeling achy or you start feeling like, you got some symptoms of the flu and all that stuff. I've never experienced that. And the reason is because, as I've learned from one of my pharmacist friends, sometimes when you have the flu shot, because they have little things in there that's supposed to, I guess it's like little parts of the actual flu,
Yeah,
the actual strain.
Virus, yeah.
Okay. if you're not feeling well at the time and you don't realize it, like maybe you have like a slight headache, you just figure it's just a headache. But you might have some of the early symptoms of the flu. You get the flu shot and it just magnifies it. Boom. That's why you don't feel well after the flu shot. I don't know how true that is.
I can be the one to tell you. I stopped getting the flu shot because it was a once upon a time I did get it. Once every other year or so, just because of the field of work. But within the last 10, maybe 15 years, I haven't had it just because of the fact of, like you said, I feel like it magnifies what's present in your body instead of letting your body, like it's an overload. Like if your body hasn't already been fighting off those antibodies or antigens, whatever it is you want to call it, and vice versa. Like same thing with the fever. If you're taught to treat, your fever is fighting off, is creating antibodies to fight off antigens. Why do you want to suppress my fever?
Yeah, because it's the fever that's going to kill the...
It's the fever that's going to kill it. Same thing with antibiotics. Yes, I'm in an office that give out antibiotics, but I'm going to tell a patient, take it for just the short period of time that they're asking you to take it. Don't get used to it because now you're keeping your body from being able to produce the good bacteria, making you susceptible to this.
Right.
When it comes to these masks, what are we doing? Breathing out carbon dioxide, bringing it right back in. We doing our own damage, which is causing a lot of respiratory issues. I've had this mask on ever since this pandemic started. Of course, changing them, but having this on during the whole pandemic, I touch more bleach than anybody that you know because I'm constantly cleaning.
Same here.
So I've had 3 COVID tests, all negative. This third one, I went. Like I haven't been going anywhere. I come here, twice a month. Other than I'm at home, I'm at work. You mean to tell me not going anywhere, I tested negative for COVID A, influenza A, but then I got influenza B? So that's what I'm trying to understand is like, because they say when you got flu B, you done had a stronger part of this flu virus and it's just lingering around in the body. Now, are you trying to call me a long hauler or you just don't know? That's why I told some people, I said, go to your doctor office. This is what you do. I'm not questioning a doctor. They went to a school for a reason. They in practice for a reason. But if that doctor can't tell you what's in that flu vaccination, outside of someone just saying, oh, it's a part of the flu strain, or thimerosal, which is mercury, is derived in egg. It's cured in egg. Besides those three points, what is actually in this? Because if you take a flu vaccination vial, it don't tell you the ingredients.
I got to be honest, never read one. Never read one.
I'll grab you one.
I'll say in my case, I'm the exact opposite. I never got the flu shot until I want to say maybe a year into my present occupation.
Okay.
Because when I worked in the auto industry, if someone got a cold at the end of the assembly line, you had it before you left that day. Because the fans are blowing all that shit around. When I worked in security, same thing. If someone had a cold, chances were very good you were going to get it by the end of the week because it went like wildfire. So then I get into my current profession, and I didn't get it the first year. And I got one hell of I think the reason why I didn't get it is because that was at the time when the swine flu was going around. I think that was the big one over a decade ago. To the point where they were doing bird flu. Where they were having the clinics at the old Pontiac Silverdome. The lines were wrapped around. The phones would be off the hook. Do you have the flu vaccine? I didn't get one because, I'm in my head, I'm thinking someone else that needs it will probably need it more than I do. And then I was getting exposed to everybody. Like, I'll never forget this one as long as I live. This one guy came up to, I had to, take care of him, and nasal drip, just constantly dripping on the counter. doesn't even wipe it, just lets it go. And you got to be very tactful. You can't do anything to embarrass anybody. So I waited until he was going to go, I'll be right back. It'll take me just a second. I got my gloves, got my disinfectants, and I had to sterilize the shit out of that area because this guy clearly was sick. And I think that's where I got sick from. So I decided the following year, fuck it, I'm going to get the flu. I might as well at least see if the flu shot works. Now, one girl got her vaccine. The next day, she wasn't feeling well. Me, I've been fine. I think if anything, I've only in the 10 years that I've been getting the vaccine, I only got sick twice.
Honestly, the last week or the week before last, when I got sick. Matter of fact, I think it was like the top of last Monday. I woke up. I'm gonna be real. This is how I got the test done and found out I had the flu B.
Okay.
I already been going through shit at work, arguing back and forth with the HR, this, that, and the third. Like I'm on the verge of just like walking out in the middle of the busiest day. Like that's where I'm at in my career with this particular company. So long story short, when a day came about where I knew they were doing something funny with my check, when I looked at my check and my stuff, things was not right and nobody had an answer for me. So I said, okay, I know I'm gonna play this. 6 o'clock in the morning came. I called my employer. I said, I got a sore throat. Like, I don't think I need to come in today. And they said, okay, well, we need you to go get tested. Well, no, they were like, well, go see your doctor. I said, no, I just want to get a COVID test, make sure, everything's good. On my way to work, they about to write me a prescription. They say, well, no, doctor such and such wants you to stay home. So I go and get that done. Now, when I told them I had the flu B, they said, oh, well, yeah, you can return to work. That's not too contagious. No, it's still an influenza.
Right.
So why would you want me to come to work? So long story short, it's just saying, are we truly being misinformed about what the flu vaccinations are or what these pandemics truly are? Is it just an excuse or a reason for medical doctors and companies to do test runs and clinical trials and just different things like that? We're not being presented the ground zero, patient zeros. Like when it's mutated, how did you know it mutated? Who was that person that mutated in? Or what was that animal that you were testing and you seen it mutate? Like, again, we don't need to know everything, but you're not giving us information at all. And media makes it hard because you got ignorant folks who listen and take media for word, which is one of the reasons this Capitol thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too long before. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people walk out their job once Trump gets out of the White House. Like, I'm already planning for that. There's going to be people coming to my job hostile. Like, we've already had these conversations leading up to this point. And it's like me trying to stay mutual. It's scary because it's like, yo, here it is. I'm the only black man working here. And, it's like, okay, how can I not scare this old white lady who's supporting Trump by being this big black man? Because how you see me here is how I show up in clinic. I come in, minus the clothes, I have scrubs on, but I keep the hat on. My tattoos are showing. I'm listening to music because I know my shit. But it just gets scary because now we're at a point where it's like the world is so media driven, whether it be social media, whether it be broadcast, radio, TV. We are living amongst a bunch of idiots.
Amen.
And I'm not calling everyone at that Capitol an idiot.
I am.
I mean, I am. Let's put it this way. Everyone who went there for that particular reason, because I believe it was some people that went to just observe. because there has been like New Era Detroit doing things,
Mm-hmm.
and I will go just to see what it's about before, but it always turned into some escalated situation. So now everybody that was there is considered a culprit. So yes, if you were at that Capitol to intentionally carry out this mission, you are a fucking idiot. If you support it, you are an idiot. But I feel bad for maybe the 10 people that might have been there just to view.
Like you're talking about people like that, not the actual like the BBC reporter who's there live watching everything unfold. Oh my God, the humanity!
Pretty much the people that has a job to still do. Whether it be protect the Capitol, whether it be to cover these stories, like get us that information.
Right.
But get us the right information. Don't give us what you feel like government is going to allow.
And the sad part is it's not just what the government will allow. I hate to even word it this way. It's almost like what's sexy to report. What's going to get your rating spike? What's going to get people tuning in?
Always murder.
Exactly. That's number one.
Always murder. And it's just sad, man. It's like I really wish that we can have somebody. Like I really wanted a woman to be ahead of this country, because I felt like I don't know what woman that might have been. It could have been Harris. It could have been Hillary. It could have been Obama.
Could have been Oprah.
Oprah and Ellen. I was saying they could have teamed up.
No, not Ellen.
We need to balance.
Yeah, she's not exactly very popular right now.
Oh, some employees suck it up.
She was mean to me.
Yeah, but I think any entertainer is. I mean, that's no worse than what Tom Cruise just did on his set.
This is true. But from which realm was he coming from? Was he coming from the financial standpoint, or was he actually genuinely concerned about the health and well-being of the people on the set? Because it sounded more like he kept bringing up insurance and keeping people, employed to see through the making of this movie and da-da-da-da-da-da. And this was over a couple of the guys not maintaining social distancing and not wearing a mask.
Well, it takes you back to what I say is more so like, if you think about it, why? I guess you could say, it's from a sense of power, having power. When I look at Tom Cruise way differently now that I got more into Scientology and stuff, because it was once upon a time, I was going through my religious battles where I was saying, I want to try Scientology out. Then I got an offer for another organization to go to and just never followed up on it. But when I start listening to the whistleblowing of Scientology, I think that plays a big role in how he reacts to the general public. I feel like he felt he was bigger than anybody there,
within Scientology or on the movie set?
Just on the movie set. I'm just saying all of that showed is just, yeah, we're here to make movies, make money, this, that, and the third. But I don't think it was more so genuinely that he cared. Like you said, I think it was more of a financial security, because he's the only person I know with a robot that's going around to make sure you have on PPE. Like, where do you even find a robot like that?
I'm thinking sex dolls for some reason.
I'm still trying to get one of them. I told my girl, I was like, listen, when you stop giving me love in the way I need it, hey, you can't say I cheated.
This is true.
Especially if you buy it for me.
Exactly. Be like, well, she think of it as outsourcing.
There you go. Outsourcing, and I don't have to bring nothing home.
Exactly. No diseases, no nothing.
Maybe a little latex burn. Maybe.
There could be some chafing. But
just know there's nothing on it.
Exactly. But with the whole Tom Cruise thing, at first I saw that on Twitter, and I'm watching people say, yeah, Tom Cruise, yeah, you're standing up for what's right. Like, is he really?
Nah.
I think his outburst, with the way he was going at it, it was more designed to be aimed at financially finishing the film because, you know, the whole movie industry got really, really socked hard, especially like trying to make these movies, trying to get them seen because the theaters are closed. And now it's creating this certain, pardon the expression, pandemic of how these are going to be seen. Are you going to see it at a drive-in, a theater if they open back up? Are you going to see it streaming? And even if they offer it, like you have the, oh God, you got a lot of movies that you can stream on your various streaming services. Like recently, we couldn't go to see this movie called Freaky.
Okay.
Good movie, by the way. Little weird in spots, but good movie. It's playing at the drive-in. We couldn't make it that night, but we still wanted to see it, so we got it off a streaming service. You got Wonder Woman 84, which I would love to see. You have to get HBO Max in order to get it, or you can go see it at the drive-in.
It looked good.
It looked good, but I've been hearing mixed things about it. Not as good as the first, we'll say that.
When it comes to like the Marvel or Adventures, you know, it's one of the things I gotta go with kind of blindsided.
Yeah, and dude, we're gonna hit Black Widow so hard. Anyway, but the thing is, you got Warner Brothers who came up with their list of movies that they're going to release that'll be streamed not only or they're not going to be only shown at the movie theaters, they're going to be shown on HBO Max. Wonder Woman 84 was one of them. There was quite a few of them. I'm like, no, that doesn't make me want to get HBO Max yet. No. But then they said Godzilla versus Kong, and I'm like, oh.
I still riding those waves.
Oh, do I want to get HBO Max just for that? So tempting, but
I could never get into the Godzilla stuff. Like I just got into the Planet of the Apes, like within the last few years. Like it took for them to do the one in the 2000s.
That one,
appreciate the old one.
That one really good. I haven't seen any of the newer ones since the very first one because honestly, I didn't want to get mad. I really didn't want to get mad. I would be rooting for the apes. But yeah, the originals were, dare I say, cheesy?
As they all was. Same thing with the Godzilla, you know.
True. And I even told Amanda on the drive home last night, I said, the Godzilla versus Kong movie better be better than the original, because that Kong was goofy looking. He's like waving his arms like that. And you're going against a radiation monster? What?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's all in the directive and how they utilize the digital effects they got now.
Right.
Because I could still go back and get into it, but like Planet of the Apes, the original, just off of the previews, I couldn't get into it. I've never seen a whole episode or a whole movie of Star Wars.
There's going to be a lot of nerds about ready to get mad at what I'm about to say. Because I am a Star Wars fan. I wouldn't start until you get to part 2, which is Empire Strikes Back. The first one was like, this is the movie that just would not end.
Well, it was one somebody told me to watch. It was like Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi was good, but once you get past the little teddy bears defeating the stormtroopers,
come
on. I couldn't make it up if I tried. But basically, George Lucas said the metaphor for that was to show that it doesn't matter how big you are, you can, if you band together, you can overthrow a giant. Oh, yeah. Basically. Excuse me.
Wrong with a mouse. So you can win.
Well, how many mice?
Just one.
But yeah, as far as the different movies and contexts and what's worth it, and getting into it for that matter, me and my unfortunate late brother, he was more of a Godzilla fan. I loved Godzilla, don't get me wrong, but I was always a King Kong fan, and it kind of. I kind of wish he were still alive so I can go, Kong's going to kick his ass. How is Kong going to kick his ass? He's not even as big as him. Oh, no, brother. Oh, no. Kong in Kong Skull Island was still just a lad. He's now full grown. He was 100 feet tall plus when Kong Skull Island. Now he's much bigger. He's gonna come in. He's got opposable thumbs, for God's sakes. But
So with Kong evolving in age or size and age,
Yep,
is this the exact same Godzilla that's been knocking everybody on their ass?
pretty much. Pretty much. And I was looking for it. Unfortunately, it's one of those ones you'd have to pay. I thought it would be on Netflix, but no. I have yet to see Godzilla King of Monsters, and I heard that one was, again, it was mixed reviews, but I'm of the mindset I want to judge for myself. And just reading up on how the movie played off, I'm thinking to myself, this kind of almost harkens back to some of the monster movies of back in the day, where growing up, I would rush home from elementary school because it would be movie Monster Week on, I think it was Channel 7. And they would have the Godzilla movies, Mothra, Gamera, Rodan, however people pronounce it. Some say King Ghidorah. I say King Ghidorah. But it harkened back to that moment where you had Rodan, Godzilla, Mothra, and basically that's the premise of this movie, teaming up to go against King Ghidorah. I don't want to piss off any Japanese fans of the genre. And just from the previews I saw, it looked badass. But I have to explain myself when I'm about to say. When I read the Wikipedia plot from beginning to finish, yes, I know how it ends. I know what happens, and I still would like to see it. The reason why I do shit like this is I'm infamous for this story. I had a book I was really, really into. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name of the book. This was like decades ago. Someone ripped out the last couple of pages, and I couldn't tell you how the fucker ended, or how it ended. So ever since then, I've made it my life goal. If I'm really interested in something, I want to know how it fucking ends before I fucking see it. Because if I die, I'll be pissed off. I will die very angry. So I was very interested in seeing Godzilla King of Monsters, and I went through the whole thing, and I'm like, well, it's a little far-fetched, but what the hell? I'll still see it eventually.
I don't know. Maybe one day I'll just give the Godzilla, the whole thing a shot. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if it was the graphics.
Are you talking the ones from the 60s, the ones from the 90s, or the more recent ones?
I'm talking about the original from like the 60s.
Well, remember that was
white.
That was like a 6 foot Japanese dude in a suit going, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was like seeing that. It was like, if I had to watch Godzilla or the Power Rangers, I'll probably watch the Power Rangers. And that probably still goes to this day.
Well, look at it. It's the Power Rangers, only it's a lizard.
Yeah,
but if you, my brother-in-law once told me, if you really want to watch a good Godzilla film, go for the ones that were done late 90s.
90. See, I don't know. I think it was the way it was packaged. It's never enough. It's never enough to kind of get the understanding of what the storyline is. Like, to me, to this day, even though I read into it, like, what are the Godzilla movies? I still don't understand the concept.
Well, as Blue Oyster Cult once sang, history shows us again and again how nature points out the folly of man. That's basically the whole point of Godzilla. Godzilla was created because of the nuclear bomb testing, or in this case, I think it was because of the United States dropping those bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He was created from that. So basically, Godzilla was if I'm wrong, I'm sure people will tell me, you motherfucker, you got the whole mythology inaccurate. Mm-hmm. Well, I pronounce it Ghidorah too, so shut up. Anyway, basically the thing I remember watching about the whole Godzilla mythology and all that is when they were creating it, it was basically they were just starting to recover and heal from those bombings. And they decided to kind of like not answer back, like, because where did Godzilla attack? Japan always. He rarely ventured outside of Japan. So it's not like they're saying, you created Godzilla, now we're going to sick him on you. Nope. But basically it was to show what the dangers of these types of weaponry could cause. So it became very popular. You know, you had this absolute monster, pardon the pun, come in and just wreak all sorts of damage, and it was the result of a nuclear bomb from atomic energy. That's why he had radiation fire coming from his mouth and all that. It was basically their response. So this is the damage this stuff can do.
So do that bring up the point that do you feel like this is China trying to, or wherever, trying to tell you this is how wars are gonna, like, do you think they can create things like that? Like, seriously?
Do I think it'll create
Not a monster,
I was about to say a
but-
20-story lizard that's going to shoot fire from its mouth? You never know. Never
Not
say
a
never.
monster, but like an indestructible, like, artifact that can storm through a town and just demolish things.
Not that per se, but I do think the metaphor is solid. That anything such as the massive damage a nuclear bomb can do, it can create something that's far more scarier on the landscape than just, I don't know, maybe fucking working the shit out. Basically, they're saying, the way I'm seeing the metaphor is every action, every severe action has ramifications. And that's what I think Godzilla represents. The ramifications of when you unleash such unimaginable technology at that time. It creates a whole different chapter. Basically, Godzilla just represents the damage something like that can do. It lingers. Because they still have places in those areas where when the bombs went off, their shows are permanently imprinted in walls, concrete, whatever, from when the bombs went off.
Mm.
So that's the way I took it. Maybe there's a different metaphor that they were going with, but that's the way I took it. I will tell you one. This has nothing to do with Godzilla and Nagasaki, nothing. No metaphors here. But an infamous moment where I wanted to see the end. I knew what the end was, and I still went, "Ah!" when the end hit. Some might say Avengers Endgame, because I knew what was going to happen, and I still got, no.
And that's sad too, because I haven't watched that. Like, somebody told me.
Oh, you should have killed him.
Somebody told
Not
me.
literally, but.
I ain't gonna say what it was, but it was dealing with Hulk. And it kind of pissed me off, and I was like,
You and me
I'm not about to watch
both.
this shit.
You and me both, because they could have done that so much better. I don't know why they went the route they took. And they completely, not to delve off, but they completely forgot one little tiny factor. I mean, you didn't see the movie, but do you know what happens?
All I know is that Hulk supposedly is killed, but is revived or
No.
something like that.
No.
So what did happen with him?
You want it?
I
With the
wanna
Hulk?
know.
Basically, it's something they were going to put in Avengers Infinity War, but they left out. Had they put it in there, it would have made more sense. But what it was is the Banner and the Hulk throughout Avengers Infinity War were arguing with each other. Banner wanted
Outside of the body?
no,
Oh,
they
just with itself.
within themselves.
Okay.
I mean, it would come out externally, like he would slightly turn to Hulk, and the Hulk would respond and go back to Banner.
Which is what I see on some of the toys. It's like have
Okay.
Bruce have.
Well, when Thanos' army was invading, Banner was trying to get the Hulk to come out, and Hulk's like, "No, fuck you, I'm done." Everyone thought it was because the Hulk was afraid because he just got his ass handed to him by that army, but it had nothing to do with it. What it had everything to do with is the Hulk was getting tired of being used to do Banner's fighting, essentially. So the deleted scene from Avengers Infinity War was them having this argument with each other. Back and forth. It would switch from Banner to Hulk, Banner to Hulk. And finally, Banner says, we need to come together. We need to reach an understanding. And if anyone has ever seen or followed the Hulk comic book, you know it never came this easy. But they finally said, okay. And they blended into one. It was Hulk's body, Banner's brain, and speech.
That's where that toy came from then.
Exactly.
Okay.
So throughout Avengers Endgame, while there was some funny moments, don't get me wrong, I'm watching it this entire time going, you had the perfect Hulk. You guys finally, minus the puny god at the end of the first Avengers, I thought that was kind of, no. But they finally created the perfect Hulk. I loved that Hulk. And they just went, scrap it. Scrap it. We're gonna do this way. We're gonna have Professor Hulk, and we're gonna do it this way. But what angered me, and maybe this is stupid, what angered me about that whole thing is they were trying to run a subplot in Avengers Age of Ultron. Did you see that one? They were trying...
After the first Avengers, I'm one of them people, like, it ruined for me when they started remaking, like, Spider-Man movies. Because the first Spider-Man, I feel like, was a really good Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 2 was really good. Doc Ock, I love that one. Although, that thing with the train, come on!
See, I don't know, I got ill feels like certain movies don't need to be touched.
No, certain
Like
ones
Iron
don't, but...
Man didn't need a second part.
He's coming back, you know that, right?
See?
And wait, it gets better. And this is a spoiler because you didn't see anything past. You saw no other movies past Avengers, the very first one?
I've seen one. I'm not sure what it was, but it wasn't. It was just more like a spot watch. It was on my TV screen, and I was moving throughout the house. So.
Oh, I feel I'm going to be ruining so much if I tell you this.
No, go ahead, because eventually I'm gonna have to pull these movies out for my son anyway. He's a big Hulk smash guy.
Well, this is going to bounce back and forth, so bear with me. The subplot they missed in Avengers Endgame is in Avengers Age of Ultron, they were trying to start a romantic relationship between Bruce Banner and Black Widow.
Okay.
Which kind of they foreshadowed because they kind of alluded a very tiny bit in the very first Avengers, because she's the one who went to him, said, I can convince you or sway you and all that stuff. And he actually looked at her pleadingly when he was about ready to change and turn into Hulk to chase her. But in Avengers Age of Ultron, they had a very, very, shall we say, it was not hard to believe, but you could tell that they were trying to put them together.
Okay.
And then when Avengers Infinity War hit, by that time, Hulk got launched into space and they did a mini World War Hulk, or Planet Hulk, rather. And the one thing that brought Banner back was the fact that the Hulk saw Black Widow on a screen and he changed back to Banner. Again, you'll have to watch these to make sense. I'm giving you Cliff Note versions.
I get it, but that's how all these action movies turn out. It's a love story.
But here's the thing. Avengers Infinity War, it was just, hi, Nat. Hi, Bruce. That was it. They completely the whole thing. And when you got to Avengers Endgame, there was a significant death, 2 of them, technically 3 if you count Thanos, but there was a significant death that he should have responded a little bit more angrily to, and he just threw a bench and said, I tried to bring her back. That was it. So, knowing that, you know one death. But the thing that is the news they just recently announced, and again, I'm sorry if I'm ruining any of this, is Chris Evans is coming back as Captain America. Now, why you give me the look of, wait a minute, coming back? At the end of Endgame, he gave up being Captain America. The actual actor's contract ended, and he wanted to go on and do other things. So I don't know if it's the fact that he did what he wanted to do, and he's like, okay, I'm coming back now, or what the case may be. And I really don't know how they're going to bring him back per se. Oh, no, I mean the character. It doesn't necessarily mean, money, which probably is a factor. Because if Robert Downey Jr. is coming back in some capacity, this is where the whole thing of the Disney Plus series WandaVision comes into play, where they're starting to introduce the multiverse. So there are multiple realities that are at play here, so they can bring them back. They left that door open for it to happen. They teased that a little bit in, I want to say, Endgame. Because they were talking about when you mess with time, sometimes time messes back. And if you don't do things in a certain way, like one of the biggest things was, and again, spoiler alert for anyone listening if you haven't seen it, but to be fair, that movie came out a few years ago. When Captain America was returning the various Infinity Stones to their proper time, there's one stone in particular, the Soul Stone. If I remember correctly, I believe it was the Soul Stone. That the only way you can possess it is you have to sacrifice the thing you love the most. Now, he went there alone. And he had to return it. The gatekeeper of that stone was a nemesis of his. How did he return it? And did he just go, hey, we're done. See ya. Deuces. Boop. And there were other things that happened. It's like, how did he do it? I guess you're not meant to know, but the whole point is the I'd like to see how they're going to bring him back, how they're going to bring Robert Downey Jr. back. I do agree with you about the Spider-Man thing, because save for the third one, which was a total debacle.
Oh, shit. I didn't even give it. After about 10 minutes into the movie, I turned it off. Like, I'm straight.
When they got to the fucking dance scene, I was like, can we leave? Can we leave? This is not supposed to. Hell, how they made Venom. I'm like, can we leave, please?
I didn't care for the Venom character.
I will say this. Krista got me interested in seeing Venom, the one with Tom Hardy.
Okay.
That's pretty fucking good. I liked it. But I don't know if I liked how they turned him into an anti-hero right away. He was a villain, like, from the start, originally. He bonded with Peter Parker to create that black Spider-Man suit, but once Peter Parker tried to separate from the symbiote, it became villainous, and it bonded with Eddie Brock. In the movie, it was like, Eddie Brock gets the symbiote, and he's almost immediately an anti-hero. But I really did enjoy that movie. There's a scene in there. I absolutely adore it. The character, Eddie Brock, is afraid of heights. And he had literally had the, I guess Venom came out. And they climb the outside of this building. And he's like petrified because at one point a plane flies over. Loud noise disrupts the Venom parasite, if you want to call him the parasite. He doesn't like it when you do that. But the suit comes off, and he starts falling, and then Venom recovers. He's like, I got you, I got you, I got you. And they crash into this office, leave a note for this guy to do the right thing. And now Venom's like, jump out the window. And it cuts next to him outside of an elevator, and you just hear Venom go, pussy.
And that's another thing, too. I notice a lot of these movies will throw in a little slang of word just to kind of brighten up the story. I don't know if it's brighten up the storyline, but brighten up that scene a little bit.
Make it a little bit more colorful.
They did it with Transformers.
Oh God, that
It's
masturbation moment.
Man.
Good Lord.
That's why I said it's like as it evolved, like it was something you could take the kids to, and then it just seemed like, all right, as an adult, this is my type of movie.
But for a kid, now you have to explain what masturbation is.
What's the two little twins or whatever that had like the foul mouths?
Oh God. Oh God. Those two characters created so much trouble for the franchise. But the one where the swearing really came into play and it worked because that's how he is Deadpool.
Deadpool was fucking awesome.
That the second one not as good as the first, I think.
Second one was horrible. That first one, because again, I thought it was going to be I thought it was like a Spider-Man movie, but it was, I guess you could say, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a spoof Spider-Man.
A parody.
Yeah, parody. So seeing it was just like a comedy hit on point. Like him coming on singing a Salt and Pepper song.
Oh God, the
like,
Shoop song, yeah.
I don't even know if it was Salt and Pepper. It might have been Evolve or somebody.
No, it was Salt and
It was
Pepper.
Salt and Pepper.
It was
Okay,
Salt and
so
Pepper.
when that came on, and I'm like, all right, they trying to. It's okay. Then I started seeing he was actually rapping the lyrics before he started kicking some ass. I'm like, all right, I'm tuned in. I started it over. It was like I was hooked. Deadpool was the movie for me.
Yeah, I think of all the, and this is really gonna, I don't know, again, might make some comic book nerds a little mad, but as far as all the Marvel movies that came out, that one was probably my right under the original Marvel Avengers. The very first one. And it almost, in my opinion, exceeded that. If it wasn't for the simple fact that I liked how that well done Marvel Avengers was, I think Deadpool would have overtaken it. Because to me, that was brilliant. The way they did the fourth walls, the story, and the story behind it.
Yeah.
The fact that it never would have come about if Ryan Reynolds allegedly leaked their test, not the test footage, but They knew Fox was not going to make this. So they made a little, shall we say, scene, which is that opening, the very opening trailer where he's beating up the bad guys in the cars. And it was just a test, and they leaked it. And the fans found it, ate it up, and demanded they make it.
Yeah, that's it. Like, just from when he was counting down the bullets, like he literally had me rewinding the movie just to make sure I was counting all the bullets. Like,
well, they were all numbered.
I didn't realize that until I watched it like the third or fourth time, because it was like I was just so into the scene because it was like comical and action all at the same time. It's like if you got a movie that got funny in it, I'm all into it, especially if it's natural coming from somebody you don't expect it to come from. It was just, I don't know. Deadpool was just a very well put together movie.
And you know what really made Deadpool? The promos leading up to it.
Oh, yeah.
Even for part 2. Like you had Ryan Reynolds doing the 12 Days of Deadpool, where every day he'd release a new promo. One of them was about, checking yourself for testicular cancer. It going down under, that kind of thing. And then another one, which was a promotional still, I think it was for Deadpool 2, I could be wrong, but it showed him spray painting the Deadpool logo over Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, which I thought was fucking hilarious. But yeah, a lot of those like you got, what do they got coming up? On Disney Plus, they got the WandaVision, which I think just started. They got Winter Soldier and Falcon coming up. I think because they have pushed it back so many times. And I've got a theory, but again, it might spoil things. If I'm wrong, I will own it, but I'm going to hold true to this. Like I said, one of the key deaths in Avengers Endgame, again, spoiler, it's been a few years, get over it. Black Widow dies. Okay. In Avengers Endgame. Now, in my head, I'm thinking to myself, why are they releasing the Black Widow movie after her death in the series or in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Again, you got the multiverse at play here. You also have them wanting to set up secret wars, which is when I believe the Skrulls, it's either the Skrulls, I'm pretty sure it was the Skrulls, infiltrated a lot of superhero groups by kidnapping the originals and posing as them. Okay? My theory, and I might be close, I might be very wrong, is the Black Widow that died in the movie was not the original Black Widow.
Hmm.
Because one of the key things they said in the very first Marvel is Black Widow looks at Hawkeye and says, just like Budapest all over again. And he goes, you and I remember Budapest very differently. Now, you think it's a tongue-in-cheek reference, but that kind of like stuck with me. And the fact that all of a sudden she has a thing for Banner, and at the end she don't. So I'm thinking that the Black Widow that died was not the Black Widow. Now, granted, they could have shown her laying there and she would have turned back to a Skrull, I think. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I could be very wrong. But now you got the whole multiverse being introduced, and they could easily bring her back.
And that's the problem I have is like, if a character dies, don't revive it. Like, I can get like one of the, the Hawks, the Spider-Mans, the Batmans, Supermans, those that's been around.
Ooh, I hate to tell you.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, finish your thought.
No, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like, don't you ruin it for people who really
are invested.
I wouldn't even say invested because I'm not one of them invested people, but like if I'm into the Hulk and you kill the Hulk off, I want to remember Hulk for what it was. Don't bring me no new revamped. Oh, I done put a battery pack in him and he's straight and tears it up. I'm not saying that's what they do, but what I'm saying is if you kill a character off, that just leaves you room to either bring out an even bigger story and character, or that next movie you bring should be this whole movie over or the whole series over again from Hulk's perspective.
Right.
Or Black Widow's perspective. So if this is like you said, it could be a twist that it wasn't the right Black Widow. That could be very true. But if that was the real Black Widow that died, why are you bringing the movie back if you're not gonna?
Well, that's where that multiverse comes in. Different timelines, different scenarios. Marvel has a comic book series called What If, that basically like what if Peter Parker turned bad instead of good, or what if Dr. Doom became a member of the Fantastic Four instead of Reed Richards. Different scenarios, stuff like that. And with the multiverse and alternate timelines, stuff like that can easily play out, because that's what they also did with Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, because one character died in Infinity War but came back at Endgame because she was from a different timeline. But going to the Hulk real quick, and I agree with what you're saying, because if you remember, and I don't know, this is reaching real back, but there was a big uproar when they killed off Superman. When Superman died, there was such a huge.
Was that the Batman versus Superman?
No, this is like long before that. This was when Superman went against Doomsday. Doomsday was a Kryptonian.
Okay.
And basically he was a Kryptonian experiment that just evolved into, he could, from every defeat, he learned. He was one of those types of creatures. And he basically, the Superman defeated him, but it cost him his life. And they had this whole thing of like the hero and this, that, the other thing. And there were 4 different Supermans. One of them became Man of Steel, which Shaq portrayed in a movie, which but What ended up happening? They brought Superman back. Captain America was assassinated on the steps on the way to trial. What happened? He dies. Winter Soldier and Falcon both become Captain America. What happens? They bring back Steve Rogers. And yes, it even happened to the Hulk. See, the Hulk, or Bruce Banner, had a thing. After he almost basically destroyed the planet with a punch and cracked like the core a little bit, he had a deal with Hawkeye where if he starts even feeling like he's going to get out of control, Hawkeye's to take the special arrow and shoot him with it. And it was going to kill him.
So-
Sure enough, it came to that. He was killed. And you think that's it. The Hulk's gone. You had this other character take over the mantle of the Hulk because he was able to control the transformation process. Or was he? But what did they end up doing? They brought the Hulk back. Because you take these characters, they're beloved or popular, and people get up, angry that you've taken something away. But in some ways, as much as I was also angry that they killed off the Hulk, welcome to life. People die all the time, be it fictionally or for real. There is no bringing, like, I wish I could bring my mom back. I wish I could bring my brother and sister back. I can't. But in the comic books, they can do it at the drop of a fucking hat. And it can get frustrating because, I mean, let's go into other ones. The most popular of all time is DC had a thing a long time ago where basically they had a vote. I think it was Dick Grayson, Robin, does Dick Grayson live or die because the Joker blew up the building that he was in? Most people voted, bye-bye Robin. And sure enough, Robin was dead. So what happens? Batman becomes enraged. He goes on a rampage, yada, yada, yada. You get replacements to take over the mantle of Robin. But then you find out he comes back. So it's almost like no matter, even if there's alternate timelines and the multiverse that can explain it, you almost sit back and go, but, I mean, now granted, I'm happy. I'm kind of happy that they're bringing Robert Downey Jr. back because the Iron Man character is awesome. He took everybody by surprise by becoming Iron Man and making it his own and really basically setting things in motion for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But at the same token, it kind of takes away from that gut-wrenching scene at the end of Avengers Endgame and the memorial thereafter. It takes so much away from that now that you just sit back and go, okay, we'll wait another movie or two and he'll be back.
So who was your favorite Avenger?
Oh, come on. Hands down Hulk. Hands down Hulk.
Okay.
I mean, I remember when they said they were going to come out with the, and this is before all this started. I'm talking about Ang Lee's Hulk. I was excited to see it. It took me 5 viewings to get the whole movie because I kept falling asleep.
Story of my life.
I kind of, I liked the original look they were going with, but people were saying it looked like Baby Shrek or Shrek on steroids. But the way I appreciated what he tried to do by making it into comic book format, but it was so fucking boring. And the scene in the cabin where he's talking about his heart going, literally, for a solid minute, boom, boom. Dude, get on with it. And Nick Nolte was over the top. Then you got Edward Norton's version, which was significantly better, but the style and look of the Hulk, no. That's why I said they finally got the look of the Hulk right. And I thought Mark Ruffalo did a great job playing Banner. He was awkward, kind of like a little, but at the same token, the fact that, and that's why I use it at the beginning of our intro. That's my secret, Captain. I'm always angry. That's my line right there. But anyway, we're going to wrap things up a little bit here. I know we touched on it briefly, but is there any movie that you can think of coming out that hasn't been pushed back or is being pushed or being released early that you can think of that's coming out that you're anticipating? That might take your mind off the bullshit that's going on?
Not really. A lot of the movies I've been watching have been more so like the Netflix and things like that. So I kind of just catch it as something pops up.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the fact that, I'm not really a TV person like I used to be. So I'm not really up on what's going on.
I watch mostly YouTube because I can't watch the news anymore. It makes me too angry or sad or upset. But I'm looking forward to the Candyman movie because they're going to have Tony Todd back for that. Thank God.
I didn't even know they was doing the Candyman.
Oh yeah. There's that one. Obviously, Kong versus Godzilla. Yeah, I'm giving Kong top billing. Sorry, folks. And of course, the one I'm really curious about is Black Widow. I'm sorry. I know she married that guy from SNL, and maybe that's where she got the line, chicks like nerds or geeks or whatever, because they're endearing and adorable, because her husband is kind of geeky and nerdy in a way. But, oh my God, I love me some Scarlett Johansson. I can't lie. She fucking hot.
That's, you know what was funny? I'm very attracted to Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock is hot too. I mean, she's like what, mid-50s now? Mid to late 50s?
I don't know, but it's just something, I don't know. It's like I guess when I seen her in Blind Side, it was like that country accent and the fact that it's not nothing drop dead different about her, but it's just a package that she carries. Just, I don't know. It's just something about her. Like, I really found myself like her.
I'm gonna be embarrassed to say this one, but watch Miss Congeniality. She goes from like kind of like a plain Jane to like a.
I think I've seen it in bits and pieces. At that time, we always called it chick flicks.
Yeah,
so
that's what they are. But even then, you're just like.
Now that I'm a little old, it's like, hey, I watch what I want to watch.
I go back to the she's pretty. Anyway, we're gonna wrap things up. We will be back in 2 weeks with a new president, and hopefully, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'll reach out, see if she's gonna come out of the Canadian tundra there. But if not, there's always me. There's always Cortez. Be safe. Wash your hands. Be kind to each other, and until we see in 2 weeks, especially, keep your rants in your pants. Boom.